Thank you. So a lot of this is going to be overlap with what Tom presented. Absolutely agree with everything that has been shared so far. So I guess one of the things that happens is when you get a new, especially a new device, because those are the things that are expensive. Things like bringing IVs and doing, medical weight loss and giving semaglutide, that stuff is not expensive. But when you're going to bring something that requires a big investment, that's where we got to really, hopefully this is where this will be helpful for you, because you get the excitement at first. You're very excited. You think you've done the research. You think you're making a good decision. And then that night, you finally sign those papers or put the money down. And then you're like, oh, shit. And then you don't sleep that night. And you don't sleep for the few nights until hopefully this thing takes off and you have the certainty that this has been a good decision. So these are some tips just to try to add some other services without losing sleep. So the main thing I think at first, before you even start thinking about it, is it is very important to understand the market, understand where you are, understand what the need is and the demand is, because the last thing is you want to bring something that nobody wants, obviously. And you want to know around you who has these devices, who is offering these treatments, how much are they charging for them? Just to really justify, maybe even without, we've talked about the fact that we have established practices and we're going to go into aesthetics or maybe bring these new services. Even our own patients doing just very simple research within the people, your people, finding out who would be interested in this thing. Because at the end of the day, your established patients are usually the easiest one to sell to, more than trying to get new patients. So really understanding where you are, who's around you, who's doing this, how much are they charging is very important. Then once you've figured out that there's a demand and there may be a potential role for bringing this thing in, then okay, you got to understand what the potential is for profitability and what your ROI, your return on investment is going to be. And you got to take a lot of things into consideration. Again, this is not too hard when you're bringing things where it's not going to drive your oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the word. It's not going to be too expensive. Buying maybe some semaglutide or IVs is not very expensive. Your overhead, sorry, thank you. So, but buying, again, it goes back to like big devices, expensive devices. It's going to drive your overhead up. So it's not just what their sales rep comes in and he tells you that the device costs this much, and you're going to, if you do 3 patients a month, you're going to be able to cover the monthly payment. It's more than that. It's understanding even things like the taxes and the insurance. Like when they show you those numbers, they're not putting into consideration the taxes or the insurance or the maintenance or the warranty or things like the consumables. How much is this going to cost per patient? How much time is it going to take of your time or your staff's time, right? You got to know how much 1 hour of your work or your esthetician, how much that is, and the time of the room that they're using. You got to take all of those things into consideration when you're doing the math to figure out really how many patients you have to do and make sure that hopefully you're not only covering the monthly payment, but you're actually profiting for it, right? Like at the end of the day, that's what we want. Start small. I think we've said it multiple times, and one of the things that the reps from companies will do is they'll, try to create this super nice package and, give you discounts if you buy 2 or 3 devices at the same time. I would highly just urge you to not do that, and unless you really have a strong evidence that this is going to work for you and be profitable. Just start small, go slow. Make sure that whatever next step that you're taking, that everyone's good with it, that your staff knows it, that they're selling it, that you're doing good, that you're getting the results, and make sure that you're always in a safe spot before you move on to take that next step. So just go slow. I've regretted that I've regretted not going slower a couple of times in my life as far as my aesthetic practice, and so that's definitely one of the things that I tell everyone, just take your time, go slow. If you have then decided to move on with getting a new device, definitely prepare and try to pre-sell as many treatments as you can. So actually, if you know that you're going to be bringing this device in, let's say March, start strong from like December, January, just planning an incredible pre-sale that hopefully your clients, and maybe if you put out like new clients really want to take advantage of, because a lot of times you can get a lot of money down before you even get the device in the door. So that's the time. I personally hate doing promos and offers in my practice, but this is the time. Only when we do very special events or when we're pre-selling a new treatment that we're going to bring into the practice, we do a good pre-sale, because I want to have all of that money up front as much as I can to hopefully have enough to feel safe that this was a good investment and I am starting strong with this device. So that is always a good strategy to do. The other thing is just think about how when you're bringing something into your practice, how it can be combined with some of the things that you're already doing, because at the end of the day, a lot of the treatments that we offer are actually synergistic. And so the patients will get an even better result if you're combining, let's say, you're bringing a new device for skin rejuvenation or pigmentation, but you also have your skincare line that you offer that also helps with brightening or helps with collagen and elastin stimulation. Plan on bundling things, because it's not only help you move both products or treatments, but it's also going to deliver better results for the patients. So try to think of ways, smart ways to bundle what you have and how what you're bringing integrates with what you already have in place. Obviously, it is very important anytime you're bringing something new that your staff is absolutely trained, not only from the clinical standpoint, of course, of how, let's say, again, this is a device, how it works, what it entails, what the preparation is, what the post-care is. But I think one thing that we tend to overlook is actually them understanding the treatment, for example. And when you bring someone new, let's say you have this device and you just hired a new esthetician or a new front desk, just everyone needs to know it, and I'm not saying everyone needs to be able to quote every paper or everyone needs to explain the technology to the last detail, but just knowing that you offer a device that does body contouring now. The last thing that you want is for someone to call the office and say, hey, I see that you guys offer, this body contouring device, and they're like, yeah, I'm not sure. No, train them to be able to say, yes, we offer it. I am not the clinical person. I would love to get you in for a consultation with Dr. Vargas, because she'll be able to tell you absolutely everything. But what I can tell you is our patients have had amazing results. I've tried it myself. It's great. It doesn't hurt. It feels really good. I feel better. So it's training them. Obviously, you want to get them as trained as you can in the actual science and technology behind your treatments. But you want to train them on how to deal with the clients, answer the questions, make them feel safe and comfortable. And so your staff needs to, hopefully all of your staff will have done the treatments, and that's what I try to do with my staff is I bring on a new device and everyone gets it. We're gonna be able to see their BNAs that we're gonna be able to use, but above all, they're gonna be able to speak from their own experience and say, this works, this feels great, everyone loves it, and just that is creating that emotion within the patients so that they're more excited to come in, get the consultation, and potentially get the treatment that you're trying to offer. You also want to educate your clients, because obviously we know that it is very important for them to understand what they need to do. A lot of times, some of the treatments that we're doing, they play a very active role. For example, a laser or light treatment, they need to be educated on pre-sun exposure or post-sun exposure, or use of products that are going to support their healing process, or understanding what's to be expected, what are complications or what are normal side effects, and encourage them to communicate with your office, just like Tom was saying. Just have a line to where they feel comfortable and they know that they can rely on you, and that they trust that if they are facing a situation, they're going to have the support from you or your staff. But at the end of the day, what you want are those ideal results, and you're not going to get them if your patients are not doing what they're supposed to do. And that also goes into managing expectations. So understanding what you're going to get from a treatment is very important. Just having very realistic expectations so that they're not disappointed at the end of the day if you overpromised. You never want to overpromise. So educating your patients is very important. Once you've had your device or your treatment in place, you definitely want to keep watching how it's doing. Okay, now you've signed up for it, you're doing your monthly payments, you got to check and see how it's doing. Not only from an investment standpoint, from a return of investment standpoint, you got to be monitoring that, maybe comes, there comes a month where you didn't sell any of those treatments, or 2 months, make sure that you're checking constantly why. Like, why are you not getting any more patients? Do you need to talk more about it? Do you need to push it more? Do you need to do whatever you need to do internally and externally to try to make sure that all of the treatments are always being offered and patients are getting those treatments? But also, you got to monitor how the patients are doing. Okay, how are they liking the treatment? What's their experience? Are you having very poor results? Is it because whoever's doing the treatment is not adequately trained and they're not doing it right? You need to be watching everything so that that device, after you've signed up for it, it keeps doing more and more and better for you each day. Upselling and cross-selling, like I was telling you, I don't discount any treatments, try not to do it. What I try to do is upsell them and do a lot of cross-selling. So essentially what I try to do with that is adding value. So instead of let's say I'm going to offer them a package for body contouring, instead of discounting that package, I'm going to add value by adding another treatment. For example, adding a treatment that's going to help me with their skin laxity, and there's a lot of things that we can do about that. And their patient is going to get a better result. They're going to get a package for a better price for them, but it's going to deliver best results for them. It's better to just upsell and bundle treatments than to discount that one treatment. And finally, stay updated just with trends, with what's going on, with what's new on the industry, but also a lot of treatments, for example, without going any further, as far as, for example, semaglutide or any of the weight medications that we're using and are very common nowadays. Each time, as there more investigation and more research is being done, we understand that they have more indications. So Ozempic started as a medication for diabetes, then it got approval for weight loss, and I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if later down the line there's approvals as far as kidney function, decreasing alcohol consumption, because we're seeing those positive effects on patients. And so just staying up to date so that you can really offer these to more and more patients and get more satisfied clients. Thank you.